If I only had 3 days to build my agency back from zero, this is exactly what I would do. My name's Tristan McGowan. I founded Fifth Element. I started this agency when I was 18 and got it to 7 figures when I was 22. Today, I'll tell you what I would do if I had to start from scratch and only had 3 days to get back to where I'm at right now. So in my mind, an agency is a company that is exceptionally well at doing one very small thing or a few small things for a lot of people. I think that if you get into agency work, you are doing that thing for a high volume of customers. Now, there's other agencies that have a very high cost service that they sell, and they do it for a small amount of customers, but it's a very niche and focused service that they do. That's the whole point, so that other companies or people can hire you and hire that part out of their business, and they trust that you are better at them than doing it. And the second thing is that your price, if you're going with the low cost, ton of volume method, is actually cheaper than if they were to hire someone in-house to do that very same thing. And not only are you cheaper than them hiring someone in-house and training that in-house person, you're actually better, like 10 times better. That's what I think an agency is. Now, if I could go back and give myself a pep talk before I started Fifth Element, number one is I would get comfortable with rejection immediately. And something that took me a couple years to figure out was that as an agency, you have to understand that you are just one lever of many inside of these people's businesses. So it doesn't even matter if you do your best work and you create great results, they still might fire you. Now, that doesn't justify a super high churn rate, but it is a better frame of thinking so that you're not beating yourself up. The word agency, and I talk about this in other content, almost gets like a negative connotation, and there's a reason why. Number one, there's a bunch of agency bros online, like in Dubai and poolside with their laptops and stuff. If I could talk to you, the real person that's thinking about starting a marketing agency right now, that's not everybody. I don't do that. I'm in an office all day. I work all day, then I go home to my wife and my kid, and then I work again, and then I work in the, like, I'm not poolside sipping martinis and stuff. I guess I could. I guess that's just a personal decision by me. But that's not what agency, that's not what agency life looks like, in my perspective and my experience. Now, I would get that thought out of your head. You could have that, and I think you should aspire to get to that point, but it's not gonna be like that for the first, however long it takes you. Maybe you could be successful in the first 6 months, maybe it takes you 12 months, maybe it takes you 5 years. You could also find a lot of success and then decide, I'm gonna hire a staff and double down and really build this thing out, and then your margins go way down. I just don't want an aspiring agency owner or entrepreneur to think that it's all rainbows and roses and it's like perfect. It's the same as any other business. That's the number one thing I'd say. Owning an agency is the same as owning any other business. But you have to understand what kind of business you are and where you play in other people's businesses. So if you are a B2B agency, you're a lever that they can pull so that they get different results. In our experience, we've worked with people, got great results, but maybe we just have like a personality mismatch and they fire us. Maybe we work with them, get great results, but then there's other variables that you cannot control. For example, in franchise marketing, it doesn't matter if we have a great relationship with the franchisee. If the corporate team, the brand wants to go a different direction, they point, the franchisees follow. We could lose them, even if we were doing great work with them. The point is, understand that you're a variable, swallow that, digest it early on. There's one pill to fix that. There is a silver bullet, and the medicine is an extremely high volume of sales and going out and getting new clients constantly. This is the number one thing that I messed up on as an agency owner. I spent all of my time in delivery and fulfillment for the first 3 years, more than that, honestly. I was trying to perfect my craft, get really good at running ads, get really good at client success. I was thinking about my onboarding process. Those things are very important. They are vital to your business. But the number one thing I neglected that entire time was going out and getting new clients. I literally built $1 million agency off referrals, which is amazing and stupid at the exact same time. Because once you're on top of that $1 million agency, you don't have any sales process. You're like out leveraged like crazy. You have no foundation to stand on. And if these outside variables come in and they start breaking down your foundation of referrals, you're screwed. So that's the other thing I would tell an aspiring agency owner is, I think what gave us so much success is that I've always been obsessed with the client experience and delivery. And I think way too many agency owners are not obsessed with that. And that's why they come off as agencies get a bad rap. It's like you work with them, people fire them in under 90 days. Certain businesses are always burning through agencies every 90 days. Like, it goes both ways. I never wanted to be one of those agency bros online that just screwed people over for money or was trying to sell courses and stuff like that. That's why I obsessed on the client experience and delivery and all this, but at the cost of building a sales engine, which is terrible. You need to find balance. If I could go back, I would still obsess on all this, but I would spend a chunk of my time perfecting a sales process, a process for going out and finding new brands, finding new clients, figuring out which events I should be going to network with these people. I never spent time on that. And it kind of comes back and bites me in the butt when I realize, man, we should be a lot further by now. I really wish we were bigger. And it's because I didn't put so much time there. At the same time, we've always had very high retention rates. And that's because I've been so obsessive with the client experience. I think other people don't put enough time into the client experience.
If you had 3 days to rebuild Fifth Element to where it is now, what would you do on day one?
Man, okay. These are long days. We're taking all 24 hours here. Day one, I would not try to identify my niche. I would identify what I'm good at. And when I started as full service, which was a really great appeal to a lot of people. I don't think that's a good recipe for scaling, if I could go back. I would figure out what service I want to offer. I would not even try to figure out the niche or the audience yet. So I would think of my skills, and if I didn't have those skills, which of those skills could I learn quickly? I'm gonna use meta ads as an example because that's one of the core things that we offer at Fifth Element. That's a decision you can make very quickly. That's not gonna take all 24 hours in the first day. Once I understood which service I would be offering, then I would begin to look for businesses, audiences, target avatars that can use that service. So if you're specializing in meta ads, well, meta advertisements is a very big world. Some people are really great at e-com, other people are really great at lead generation, other people are really great at just local marketing. So doing local marketing for like local fitness studios, gyms, things like that. Figure out which one of those things you're gonna do. Then, if I had AI, I would go and look up every single kind of business or every single kind of business or avatar that could benefit from those services and put it into a small list. If I could lean into any of them because I had experience about it or anything like that, I would pick one. So I'm gonna use my example because it's quite literally what we do. Mine is meta ads. I'm good at local lead generation for meta advertisements. So I'm gonna figure out what kind of businesses can use local lead generation for meta advertisements. And there's a huge branch there. It's home services, mobile services like car detailing companies. There's the fitness studio example, wellness centers, anyone that can use local lead generation, even real estate agents, there's all kinds of stuff. I would put together a list of those people in a list of those categories, and then I would go inside of each category and build a 100 list of 100 businesses or 100 brands, 100 studios, whatever it may be, and just build it out. Now, with AI, you can go ask ChatGPT or Gemini, and it will literally build the entire list out, give you all the information of all the businesses, who's the go-to contact by email, every single thing you need in seconds. We just did this for Fifth Element a few days ago. You can do all of that in under 1 day. Now, if there's time to squeeze it in there, figure out what your pricing is. Start with something stupid simple. Your pricing does not need to be perfect. This is something I hesitated on for way too long. Figure out a price that gets you excited and makes sense for other people. So take into account what their business is. You could offer the exact same service to someone who's like a local gym and someone that's a home services company and someone that does like salon suites. And you could offer all of them different pricing. So this is getting a little bit more advanced, but let's say if you're a local salon suite, well, their business model is capped. They can only make so much revenue in a year because they can only sell out so many suites in their space. So you can't put a super high price on it because they can only make so much money in a year. Now, if you're doing local lead generation for a home services company, maybe a plumber, a roofer, someone who can continue to scale their business out to an infinite amount, well, you can put a really high number on that or a number that grows over time. The other thing I would take into consideration is if you're just getting started, just put any number and try to get clients. That's it. If getting clients is way too easy, increase your number. You could also work with them for 60 days, 90 days and say, hey, we're bumping our prices up. I would just try to get clients at each level. And if you keep getting clients, keep raising the price. Super simple. So in day one, I'd figure out what I'm gonna do, who I'm gonna sell it to, and build a list of all the people I'm gonna go after. You could easily do that in an entire day, in my opinion, if you're really getting to work. Day two is going after them. I would spend the entire day going after them one by one by one. So if you have phone numbers, if you have emails, I would start name dropping. I would figure out how to connect with them using names of other people you just connected with, even if they didn't respond. Hey, Tom, I just spoke with Bob at ABC Gym across town. We're looking to get this started. Super easy. It's all fake it till you make it. I would spend a majority of the day trying to get in touch with these people. Same thing, like I said earlier, you could use AI, you could have someone help you. It's very simple. Just try to drum up some level of traffic. Now let's assume you spent all 24 hours reaching out to people. That's a lot of people. You can cover some serious ground. I would focus on delivery and things like that last. Let's say you get in touch with some of these people on day two. At least what you do is you finalize your outbound process so that it's very repeatable and very easy to continue. On day three, I would then go into the onboarding and delivery. I would quickly bootstrap the easiest black and white onboarding process for your clients. I wouldn't even worry about delivery. I would make it the easiest process for them to get working with you. It doesn't need to be extremely robust. It needs to be easy. We're talking one email that you could send them that has your service agreement, a link to pay you, and your onboarding form, and that's it. It doesn't need to be crazy nice. Your onboarding just needs to be extremely easy for them. Give them just enough information to get you started, and you just need to get the keys to their account and run. I wouldn't even try to build out like project management systems, templates for I wouldn't do any of that. You can stay up all night working on the accounts you're gonna get. Let's just focus on getting accounts first. That's what I would do. And a little bonus tip, I've got questions from other agencies or from other agency owners that are just getting started that ask, how much should I put in paid ads? Should I run paid ads for my agency? If you are just getting started, there's no reason to run paid ads for your agency, in my opinion. If you're bootstrapping this, most agency owners are scrappy guys that are my age, or a little bit older, or even younger, and they're just trying to make cash quick. That's it. That's all they're trying to do. That's the whole reason they started an agency. They're trying to work poolside, make money. Don't run ads. You're gonna burn your money getting leads. Maybe it'll work. Maybe you're really good at it. Be really good at running ads for your clients, because your first 100 clients can come all from referrals and outbound. I would wait until you have a pretty good chunk of cash before you start running paid ads for your own agency, in my opinion. That's what I would do in those 3 days. All right, day 4, you just made it through days 1, 2, and 3. Let's assume you have clients now. Here's how I would continue to scale your agency based on things that I've learned that I've done incorrectly and that have worked for us. So, like I said, we want to keep delivery stupid simple. I wouldn't worry about building out all kinds of systems to have perfect delivery. I would just get really good at running ads for that client and have a good line of communication with them, and the systems will come. You'll have ideas overnight when you're in the shower. You'll be like, I'm gonna get Slack and put all my clients in Slack and I can talk to them easier. I'm gonna get Asana to organize all my work. You'll figure it out. For the first 2 or 3 years, I was literally just writing stuff down on a piece of paper and a whiteboard and it still worked. The thing I did not do was collect wins. I've worked with probably over 300 people or something crazy, and for the first few years, I was horrible at collecting wins. The guys that win are the guys that do a good job, and the second they do a good job, they immediately ask the client for a testimonial, and they build a very simple case study. In the beginning, your credibility is so much more important than your brand or how good your ads perform and things like that. So I would set up like an extremely simple Google form that you can submit things to, and the Google form can take in a screenshot and it can take in a quick summary. And anytime one of your clients has a win, I would write down what the win was about, screenshot the dashboard, the ad manager, whatever it is. It could be scrappy, put it in there, and then I would reach out to that client and say, hey, can we get on a 5-minute Google Meet or a quick phone call? Get on it, ask them if it's okay if you record the call and ask them 3 questions and just get a testimonial out of them. The credibility will do so much more for you than turning on paid ads. That is literally going to be the gasoline for your agency. Now that kind of falls back into the like sales and marketing side. Let's assume you have that up and running. The next thing is now focusing down on the delivery. Okay, the reason people don't like working with agencies is because a lot of agencies suck at client success. That does not mean that a lot of agencies can't get results for their client. That means a lot of agencies can't get results for their client and then translate that into words that the client actually understands. Most agencies speak meta ads, Google ads, social media, SEO very well. We're all nerds. We know how to run the ads. We know how to do the social media, but they suck at speaking the language of their customer. You need to understand your target avatar, learn everything about their business so they feel like you totally get them and you're always there to support them. You always understand everything. You anticipate their needs before they even say anything. Not only do you need to learn how to speak their language, but then you need to figure out how to be proactive. So there's ways that you can scale being proactive and caring and having better client success without literally being tied to the phone all day, because then you're not going to be able to make business decisions or run your ads and stuff like that. You can schedule messages to go in Slack, schedule updates to go through email, have an AI bot reach out to them, whatever it is. A lot of agencies are horrible at the client success part. Honestly, one of the first hires I think for agency should be someone that can start taking these one-on-ones with your clients. And I would not be scared to set up a bi-weekly call with your clients. When I first started, I was doing weekly calls because I was so petrified that if I didn't constantly check in with them and talk to them, I would lose the clients. It worked for a while, and then that turned into a roadblock to continue to scale because doing a weekly call with 100 people is impossible. At Fifth Element, we find bi-weekly calls are perfect for us. Monthly calls are great for other agencies too. But I would figure out the client success component. So are you gonna put them in Slack? Am I gonna email them every 72 hours? Am I gonna send them like voice notes? Am I gonna send them a loom? Sending them a 2-minute loom is very, very popular and it helps a lot. One of the things we did at Fifth Element when we hit this like choke point where I couldn't hire the next client success manager, but we were getting more clients. So our calendar was packed and I couldn't keep taking clients, but I'll never not take clients. I take them on, I'll figure it out. I'll work all night. What I did was I had our team that manages the ads start recording looms. And the rule was the loom can be no longer than 90 seconds. And we have a templated dashboard that we use for all the clients' metrics. It would show all their metrics on the dashboard. They'd hit record a 90-second blurb about what we're looking at, how are things going, how are things that we're changing or updating, and what the expectations are, what we're expecting to happen after making these changes, and then say something like, let us know if you have any questions, and send the loom out. We were doing like 80 looms per week. It was crazy. But then our ad manager could get through 80 client updates in like 2 hours once a week. And then they could take the rest of the week to do their work. And this took load off client success and the rest of our team. Doing simple things like that, or sending a text message to the client, just checking in with them saying, hey man, how's the leads? Or how's this going? Did you like this? Go a really long way. The next like level or step on that is making suggestions to the client. So I would figure out how to then suggest things to the client. If you're just getting into calls and you're just reporting on things and then being like, do you have any questions? It works for some people, but some people are gonna say things like, I feel like you're a broken record and I'm hearing the same thing week over week, or we're not really strategizing together. It's very simple to strategize together. Learn a few key things about their business, and next time you show up into that call, or if you know that you just got out of a call and there's gonna be 2 weeks till the next call, pick a day or two between that gap and send a simple message. Hey, I saw your gym is next door to a Whole Foods, or it's in this really nice center. It seems like there's a lot of traffic over there and gets a lot of traction. Do you think you could actually go out and record some B-roll, like of the center or of you walking in the studio? Do you think that would work? Simple things. Giving them a tiny bit of homework or small suggestions, just make them feel like this guy's actually thinking about my business. That's little stuff that I've always done that I feel like has really taken us, like really puts us into the 10th inning, so to speak, like Jesse Itzler says. So client success is huge. Right now, you're brand new, you're not bringing in a ton of clients, you're getting it figured out. It will happen, I promise. If you stay consistent, it will happen. It took me into my 3rd year to finally start getting a lot of clients at once. Like it took 24 months of just nothing and suck. You'll figure it out, you will get there. And when you do get there, your new problem will not be sales, it will be onboarding. Once you get to that point, or you feel that point is coming soon, you need to hammer down the perfect onboarding process. Figure out a process that is extremely repeatable, extremely simple, not only for you, but for that client. Make all of your SOPs, put everything into a very simple to-do list, because you're gonna start hiring people soon and they need to be able to do what you do better. The onboarding process is everything, because as you get more and more clients, you're just getting better and better and better at delivery, because you're doing the same thing 100 times. What you're not getting better at is you go from 10 clients to 50 clients to 100 clients to 200 clients, and now you're trying to figure out, how do I handle this many clients? And one of the things that breaks for most agencies is onboarding. Maybe you can operate 100 accounts all at once, but if I gave you 100 accounts next week or tonight, you'd be screwed. So you need to get your onboarding process bulletproof. So it doesn't matter if you take 1 client a week or 1 client an hour, you can get it figured out. So I would focus on onboarding like crazy. Get paid. Don't work for free when you're supposed to get paid. Working for free in the beginning, I think, is completely fine. That's how I got started. I was doing free work or cheap work for a lot of people. But get paid. I was sending invoices and trying to collect money from people. It is the biggest headache. Get on Stripe, get on QuickBooks, get on some kind of payment payment processor, and put that sucker on auto charge. In the beginning, you feel icky and weird because you've like never done this, and it's hard to ask people for money. Like, I totally get that, but you got to get paid, because if it's just like a few thousand, a couple thousand here and there, it's fine. Then you start scaling out, you start getting better, or you start getting bigger, and now you're $50,000 behind going into the next month because people haven't paid their invoices yet, and now you have a staff and you're trying to pay payroll. It gets ugly so fast. I didn't get on like a very structured way to get paid until like year 4, year 5. It was rough. So that's another big thing that I messed up on that people really need to hammer out immediately. Get your money. The whole reason you're starting this agency is to get paid. So make sure you're getting paid on time. Quick recap. We spent our first 3 days figuring out what we're gonna offer, figuring out who we're gonna offer it to, going out and now finding those people, and then starting delivery. Then we moved into, how am I gonna 10x that? How am I gonna scale my agency out? And it boils down to a few things. The biggest one being, now get really good at delivery, get amazing and obsessed with client success, get really great at onboarding, and then a few key details that can really help you grow are getting paid on time, tracking all of your wins, case studies, and building testimonials, and then doubling down on the people you're working with to get more and more referrals. If you like business content like this, or real stories about when I got my agency started and how I'd continue to grow it, hit subscribe, comment, like, let me know what you want to see. I'm going to be making content like this every single week.